Hello again, my sports marketing people. Part 2 of Chapter 4, Market Research in the Sports Industry. So, hopefully, you have followed my instructions and requests and taken an online survey instrument about the JSU 2019 hype video. And that's just a hands-on example of an online survey. And I was able to distribute that to this class, but only to this class because that's the only people that have access to that link, access to this D2L course site that has that link on it. So we talked about some positives at the end of part 1 as I was setting up the online survey. And what are some drawbacks? Might be limited to email address access, or it could be limited to, in this case, D2L access. If you email out the survey, like to your company, let's say you want to just survey your company, maybe people have stuff like that blocked, so you miss out on potential people to complete the questionnaire. Or maybe you're one of those people that just doesn't fill out questionnaires. Because of my job, my research, I fill out questionnaires when people ask me to, because I feel like that creates good karma for people to fill out mine when I send them. Maybe it doesn't, but that's the way I do it. So I do fill out a lot of surveys, but a lot of people, they just skip by them, or they only will take a problem from, or get an email survey from the Hilton Garden Inn and they had a problem there, so they'll fill that out. But anyway, so those are some drawbacks. An intercept outside of a stadium, let's say. We can get people in a certain location to ask them about certain things. So that's a positive. You don't want the people collecting the information. And by the way, it'd be better if they were doing it on iPads. If they weren't, if they weren't branded with an Atlanta Falcons shirt, then it might skew what people say about it. You have to have a lot of people to do it, or you should have. All questionnaires should be short, right? And generally, it should have a progress bar on them saying you are, 50% through or 70% through, and don't lie about it. Because the longer it goes, then people get tired of it and they just click, 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 and the end of the information you're collecting is just trash. And you should have a sampling scheme. What does that mean? Well, you can't just say, well, we randomly just picked people outside of Phillips Arena. Well, not Phillips Arena, State Farm Arena. Well, did you really? Because the way to actually do that, where the information is more trustworthy and usable and defensible, is you should have a sampling scheme where you ask every 5th person. If the 3rd person comes up and says, hey, I'll fill out that survey, say, no, thank you. We're just sampling every 5th person. And the 5th person says, no, that's fine. You go 5 more people. Not just people. If you don't, you get people who are interested in it, and that might skew the results. So whatever your sampling scheme is, everybody has to operate the same way. If you're walking down the beach and you're going to ask, whatever you decide it's going to be, every 10th person, then you have to stick with that. And then you can report that. That's how you got it, and that makes that improves the legitimacy and the credibility of the data that was collected. Using a telephone. Right. Most people these days would use, and you see it a lot when you're, especially in a political season like this year that ends in 0, where there's a lot of political polling, and they'll use the best kind of polling is they use, telephone polling. Well, and you say, well, did you call cell phones? Did you call landlines? It's 2 different groups of people. Most quality research firms, just use random number dialing. So if they know they want to survey Georgia, then they'll call, the 404 and 678 and whatever, all the area codes in Georgia, and then the next 7 will just be random. So it could be a cell phone or a landline. However, if you had a cell phone in Georgia and then you moved to Texas, most people just keep the cell phone. So you would have to have a screener in there saying, are you planning on voting in Georgia? Are you eligible to vote in Georgia? Whatever. So, but they don't, most companies use random digit dialing to get everybody. And that makes it easier than rounding up email addresses because you can just call. But, a lot of people won't pick up a number they don't recognize, me being one of them, or some people employ either through their cell phone service, which is rare. I think Verizon offers it, but I use another software package that just sends spoof calls directly to a bogus message, and I don't even see it. So those are some drawbacks. There's pluses and minuses. You get good data, but those are some of the drawbacks of telephone surveys. Direct mail. Not a lot of that goes on anymore because it's expensive. You got to mail it out. When it costs money, you've got to create this on paper. Somebody responds with it, then you've got to have some people that take that data and put it, in a spreadsheet or into a program where you can use it. Response rate, low, because a lot of them just get thrown away. And a lot of people don't want to do it because they say, well, there's something embedded in here that says who I am and what my address is. And, I'm hiding from the law, and, so I'm not going to fill that out and send it back. But if there's nothing on there, maybe they feel like they have more confidentiality than maybe doing an online survey. Right? I think that one of the problems with online surveys sent from, for example, employers to their employees, and they say, well, this is completely anonymous. I think a lot of people think, oh, well, it's not. Well, should I really be truthful about my bosses on this survey that was sent from my company? Or should I just skip that, pretend like I missed it? Questions to ponder. Interviews. Now we're moving to the, collecting qualitative data. You can get very in-depth and rich information from in-depth interviews because you can pick up body language, vocabulary usage of words, what they're doing. Can be cost effective, depending on what you want to know. If you want to know what freshmen at college think about parking at that college, and you pulled a random group of 20 freshmen from across different majors within the school, that could be cost effective because you could spend an hour talking to them and get a ton of information, what you're looking for. Well, like I said, generally focus groups are meant to help zone in on some problems that need to be looked at. You should have a guide if you're ever forming a focus group, where if you're going to do 2 or 3 different groups, that you're asking similar questions. And the only way to do that for sure is to have them written down. If you're going to interview, your employees about their supervisors, might be best not to do that on site where you work. People might not be as free to share information. I want to do it elsewhere and have somebody that they don't know, a third party, by the way, to make sure that nothing's going to leak back and go, well, Tara said this about Dr. So-and-so, and we need to report that back because, it was brutal. right? So those are things to watch out for, pluses and minuses of those. This is just some rules of thumb. Rules of thumb, an interesting phrase. Does anybody know where that comes from? Originally, it comes from many, many, many years ago, where it was acceptable to beat your wife with a stick as long as it was no bigger than your thumb. I guess that was considered to be illegal. If it was bigger than your thumb, less than your thumb, go ahead, wail away. That's just a little nugget for you. But we use that for some, some commonly known rules about things, or some good guidelines. So 5 and 12 participants, a high level of homogeneity as opposed to heterogeneity. I would hope that everyone would know what that means. But going back to my prior example, if we're interested in freshman views about parking on college, then we're going to want freshmen. We don't want, seniors, juniors, sophomores, and freshmen. We want freshmen. So it would be a homogeneous group of freshmen. And I already mentioned verbal cues, which is a plus to a focus group. Ethnography is when you're watching people, not illegally or perversely, but when you're able to observe people. A lot of times this is done in a lab where people are asked to, watch a movie, and they're watched by people to see what their reactions are to different things, or it's a fake shopping experience. So they watch and see what they loiter at, what they choose, what they it takes a lot of time, and you can't just decide to follow person A through Kroger. They would call the cops, right? So you would have to have the participants know that sometimes let them know they're being watched, sometimes not. But there's plenty of documents that have to be filled out about that. So that's very rich data, very time consuming, and generally only done with items that are very important to the firm or to the club, which generally relates to profits and revenues. Can have a big difference, not just for small level stuff. You wouldn't use ethnography and observation for that kind of thing. So who uses sports marketing research? Again, I hope you've all successfully completed market research. So leagues, the SEC does research, as does the NFL, it does Major League Baseball, it does the Pac-10. That's just commonsensical. Teams use it. They heavily research their fan base, potential fan base. What are they happy with? What are they not happy with? Especially season ticket holders. You want to make sure they keep coming back, because that's your base that you start with in normal times. They're surveyed regularly, because that's an important group that you want to know whether they're being you're satisfying their needs or not, and how can you fix it. And sponsors, you want to if it's Truist Bank or O'Reilly Auto Parts, they want to know, are people see the ad? Are they responding to it? If the Braves score, well, actually they do it with the Hawks, but anyway, if the Braves score, 10 runs or more, and you can get a free oil change at a certain location the day after, how many people are taking advantage of that? Or are they not? That would let you know whether the money you were spending was being effectively spent, or maybe you should do things. Because what matters is measured. If somebody tells you something matters, but they don't measure it, then don't believe them, because it doesn't really matter. It might matter a little bit, but not as much as they say it does. Because if it really matters to the organization, they'll measure it, which means they'll conduct research on it. So what's the right research? Well, it's a cost to research, right? There's not an immediate return on investment for it. Now, down the line there is, if you use it to make adjustments and improve things and remove things that need to be removed out of your, your product line or your experience. So, but a lot of people don't, they just put a minimum amount of money to it and go, yeah, go out there and ask them about, the concession stand food. That's not the way to do it. If somebody says, yeah, I want you to survey all your students, ask them about this. My first question would be, why? What's the objective? Well, we want to find out, then I'm going to force somebody to say, we want to find out how happy they are with the online registration process. Okay. So let's think that. Who should we ask? How should we ask it? How are we going to study the data? What methods would we use to do that? What's the best way to get that? Always start that. Don't ever say, hey, let's do a survey on this. Well, why? Maybe the Intercept is better. Right? Maybe making it part of a course is better if we're at a school and we get the information. Or what's the objective? Why are we doing it before you go running off to do something? Measure twice, cut once, as the old carpenters used to say, and they may still say it. So you want to plan, take some time, involve some people in it, so people can look and see if they see any mistakes that you may not even notice. Know how much money you have to spend, or if you have any at all. Maybe you want to search out somebody to help you with it, somebody who does that type of thing. Maybe if you work for an insurance agency, you know, find out some things. Maybe go to the local or a college of business and offer them a research opportunity. Maybe they'll use it in a class, or maybe a professor might do it. Somebody that knows what they're doing. You already, when you graduate here, you'll know more about it than most people, but not as much about it as people that do it all the time, every day. So you also will, when you do an online survey, any kind of survey, you want to pilot test it, have it out there, and have some people similar to the ones you're going to look for to actually fill it out, to take it as a pilot test, and then talk to them afterwards and go, why didn't you answered question 4 this way, why? And they go, well, it was really confusing. I didn't know what it meant. Okay, well, you need to reword that. And it's up before you send it out to everybody. All right, so that is the chapter 4, part 2. And I'll be seeing you. And until then, I hope you stay safe and wash your hands.